all Indians know Devanagari, but Devanagari is just one script. So ancient Sanskrit was not written in Devanagari. That's just whatever. So the Vedic Sanskrit the Vedic Sanskrit was primarily orated, right?
Understand this thing very simple. Terrorist comes to India.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Listen, Ravi, listen to me. Terrorist from outside comes to India or whatever. A terrorist comes and kills people on the name of religion, right? I accept it, right? Now Sanghis are going out and killing people on the name of religion.
Okay. So, who are those Sanghis who have AK-47s in their hands and...
You don't need an AK-47 to kill a person. Do you need an AK? I can literally kill a person with my bare hands.
Okay. So, you are...
are you telling me that... Are you going to tell me that there's a difference between killing with an AK-47 and killing with a stick? I think in both cases the result is same, right?
No. See, that's why I said, don't ask me Sanghis questions are any kind of religion calculated.
You are going to pinpoint about the Kashmir attack. It is as an agnostic, it is your duty to question the other side also.
I do condemn. I do not affiliate with any kind of religion.
Not only condemn, you have to question. You have to question also.
So then
you questioned the terrorist attack. I agree with you, and I was with you, right? Now in the same way, you have to question, not only condemn.
I did say that's a crime. Whoever beats on...
No, that is also a terrorist attack. That is also, what is terrorism? That defines terrorism. Terrorism is nothing else but terror, creating terror inside someone's mind and heart.
Yeah.
So Sanghis are technically doing terrorism also.
Yes, you can say that.
Thank you so much. So you question both, you condemn both. You can't question one and condemn another.
I'm questioning Adil. Not the same to have a reaction to this kind of incidents that happen.
Ravi Kiran, it is not right. Okay, because it's a reaction, it doesn't mean that it is right.
Ravi Kiran, repeat after me. Nathuram was a terrorist.
Nathuram is a terrorist. No. Adil, at the same time,
was a terrorist. Now the same time,
Adil, understand this.
Mujahideen is a terrorist organization. At the same time, TRF is a terrorist organization.
Yeah, TRF is a terrorist organization. Lashkar is a terrorist organization. Jaish Mohammed is a terrorist organization.
Adil was very, I think, doubtful that I'm not... Repeat after me. RSS is a terrorist organization.
We don't actually do these things. So, wait. We don't do actually this kind of nonsense. RSS is ये बच्चों वाली चीजें यहाँ मत करो.
RSS is not a terrorist organization.
It is a terrorist organization.
I don't affiliate with it. I don't affiliate with it, but it is not a terrorist organization. At least for me,
it has done. It doesn't have.
Thank you, Adilji.
Ask anyone. Is RSS a terrorist organization? What is a terrorist organization?
Sorry?
You know what? RSS is a terrorist organization. Yes or no?
It's not.
Yes.
What you need to do is elect strong and powerful leaders who will deflect and fight the Muslim terrorists using the military, the police, and secret police to put an end to all these terrorists once and for all and secure the perimeter of India from incursion from outside Muslims. It is time for the Hindus to stand up and fight these Islamists with swords and rifles and rockets and bombs until they all cannot fight anymore. This is the way of the Bhagavad. Fight to the death and we will prosper and have victory.
Yes. Swati Olu, really you have to repeat after him.
I don't know what that goofy thing we spoke right.
No, let's.
I didn't comprehend anything.
Okay, what have you done? But the thing is, Ravi, you should understand that any organization.
Any organization that has
Bajrang Dal is a terrorist organization, yes?
the Bajrang Dal is extremist organization. I agree that.
You agree to that?
Yes.
Bajrang is affiliated to RSS.
No, it's not. It's not. You're wrong. You're actually wrong. It is.
Vishwa Hindu Parishad is,
It's not. It's not. Vishwa Hindu Parishad doesn't affiliate.
I will show you videos of people from Bajrang Dal and Vishwa Hindu Parishad, confessing their crimes against humanity and Islam, Muslims in Gujarat.
So punish them.
No. What do you mean by punish them? They open bellies of women, take their fetus out.
See, any organization will have a constitution, right? They have their ideological background. They have their
we can also say the same for the terrorists. They have their own ideology. They have all the whatever they have.
Yes, but RSS doesn't have that violent ideology. They don't have the.
RSS is a fucking paramilitary militia of its own.
It's not paramilitary. It's an organization. That's it.
It has its own paramilitary, wing. Although they are actually funny, they look funny when they jump. Then they do training. Whatever, funny, but it is there, right? When they are jumping, over the sticks. Have you seen that?
There is no logical discussion over here.
My fellow Brahmins and Hindus, I am telling you that the Muslims will never stop. Only through strength and courage can we fight these Muslim bastard bunchos which are killing us and raping our people. It is time for the Hindu nation to stand up once and for all and fight these Muslim bastards and push them back to the sea and push them back to the mountains outside of India once and for all.
Wait a while. I am a Kashmiri Muslim. You can't push me to sea. How can you push me to sea?
Then we will put you on a pink pony and fly you to the moon with Muhammad.
What?
We're going to put you on a pony, a white horse, and fly you to the moon.
Yes, he did. You can actually use Pushpak Viman also. Better give me Pushpak Viman, bro. It will be easier to fly. He won't be able to reach anywhere with that Pushpak Viman. It was slow.
What will the Bhagavan and the Guru do? What would the yogi do?
Yogi is Pakistani himself. Don't you know?
I just think these terrorists need to do a yoga class and read some Bhagavad Gita before they kill their cousins and their brothers. They need to know how stupid they are. They don't read the good books. They only read the one book, the glorious Quran.
Bro, Gita was literally said in a war in which cousins were killed each other. What are you saying?
I'm saying that you have to look at it from the perspective of Krishna, not the perspective of Arjuna. You need to become divine and stop with your bullshit terrorism and politics.
But terrorism is within your religion also, right?
No, Hinduism is a religion of peace.
People were killed for eating. People were killed. Ask their names. What's your name? Tabrez Alam. Kill him.
No, don't kill him. Cook him dinner and do a yoga class. Time to do some meditation and turn off Netflix. You've got to find peace in your life again and stillness now.
My meditation happens with me opening the window. I live in Kashmir. I have a beautiful view when I get up. I don't need, I don't have garbage outside my home. I don't need yoga.
Yes, you do. And stop shooting air pellet guns at the poor people. You're racist, bigot, and you are the terrorist.
26 people were killed by Pakistani terrorists. 2,000 terrorists were saved by Kashmiris. You buffoon.
Well, then stop worrying about your view and so beautiful. Do some yoga and meditate a little bit.
I don't need yoga. No? Why are you?
You've got some. I can tell you've got hamstring pain in your left leg. You need to stretch. Do some deep breathing.
This is boring. He's just trying to copy that comedian named Fluffy.
Fluffy.
Good time. Yes. So he roasted India. Yeah, that's what. He roasted India very bad. what is his name? I guess Gabriel Iglesias. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, see, he wrote Fluffy. A good sense it from the very first moment that he had nothing to speak in order to make sense. Just yes, he was not making sense. And how can somebody say that RSS is not a fucking terrorist? We look at those 3 terrorists who killed Hindus, but they are not looking at hundreds of Kashmiris who came and supported terrorists, saved their lives, carried them on their backs, took bullets from them. They are not talking about that. You know what they have made? Fadi, please come on. They have forced us to condemn this, and they have, as if it's our responsibility to keep condemning it and get.
Atheists. They're not.
Oh,
They
really?
don't believe in God. Oh yeah, they don't have a God. They only have gurus.
What are you saying?
Yeah, Jains are atheists. The Buddhists are atheists. Jains are atheists. That's why we call them. We call the school of thought Gnostic,
Actually, yeah. Gnostic.
non-theist.
Non-theist, yeah. But Buddha never said there wasn't a God. He just never affirmed that to be like source or that to be the pointer. That there was no mention of there is or there isn't. You see what I'm saying, Shiva?
Yeah, perhaps, but they don't have a strong school which promotes a theist God.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
They don't have a personal God. But they also said that Buddha was not the first Buddha. There were many Buddhas before him.
Correct.
Shiva, do you know that a bunch of nerds in the Bay Area have reinvented Jainism because they're starting anti-shrimp suffering causes to donate money to prevent shrimp suffering? This is like a movement now.
I have no idea.
I went to the Osha Ashram and the Aurobindo Ashram in Oroville. I mean, I stayed there for periods of time, and it's so interesting to see the marriage between the Western psyche, Shiva, and the ancient whatever the tradition itself. So it's almost like capitalism softened at its edges. That's how it looked like.
Yeah, you mentioned this. So I don't know if people know, but Auroville is this place in Pondicherry. Used to be a French colony in South India, where we had a French woman who became the spiritual guru along with Aurobindo. Was she Turkish? I thought she was French.
No, she was Turkish or French. Lived in France, but of Turkish origin.
Oh, okay, yeah. And Aurobindo, who was like a spiritual monk from the British era, who established this ashram, and they do all kinds of meditation, yoga, and they believe in the transformation of man consciously, evolution of man consciously through yoga into the Superman, right? So
Sam, it's so self-sufficient that I lived there for a year. That this whole it's like an entire jungle that I think Indira Gandhi dedicated to this cause or this experiment, where people from all over the world can come to this really pretty island called Pondicherry. Not island, but a city. It has a very pretty beach and.
Where is this?
So it's in Pondicherry, which used to be a French colony down south in India. And I stayed there for a year and practiced architecture.
This sounds really good.
Oh, it's so fun.
Sounds like anything I should do with my life.
Listen, it's so fun. It's basically any artist can exercise their freedom anyhow. So it's really heaven on earth for any kind of artistic expression. But then they have these little housing areas where each has a theme of its own. So it was this jungle basically that was dedicated to unifying mankind, like Shiva said, based on the principles of the 9 pillars of Aurobindo. And it has they call her mother. So she was this Turkish French woman who was very, very influenced by the work of Aurobindo. And she dreamt that an egg within a lotus sort of was moving And the entire ashram, which I had the great honor of like working with, like the lotus leaves were falling apart and the golden discs on it. It's just they're putting it back together. So so it's so interesting. That's the entire ashram. You just like
Yeah, but I think, I think I mean I agree with Nargis. It's a beautiful place and it's a spiritual experiment. But I think Sam, you would probably find the writings of Aurobindo very inspiring because he's a very prolific philosophical writer. They call him the modern or the 21st century yogi or whatever, and he's written hundreds and hundreds of books. Life Divine is one of his most famous book. The Life Divine. They have a Aurobindo Society in, I believe, in the Bay Area in California.
They have, yeah.
They're pretty, yeah. So you might find his writings interesting.
That sounds cool. I mean, I'm kind of a India-phile, and it seems like I've been thinking about moving to Thailand because it's very cheap and stuff like that. But like, given that I feel more spiritually connected to India than Thailand, but maybe that's the place I should move to.
Yeah, I think India has that sort of magnetic attraction. Yeah, it really
Crazy
does.
place.
Yeah, it's so good. I really miss it. I really miss it.
Spent some time in Delhi, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" You know, you can let people get off the train before you get on the train. You know that, right, guys? Like,
oh dear, those rides.
Yeah. Had it not been for the pollution and the traffic in the Indian cities, so you're far.
I think
more
so.
beautiful.
Yeah. But listen, sure, it's gotten cleaner. And I went about like 3 years ago. It's really gotten cleaner, and especially like Bangalore, where I went to, so different from when I visited the last time.
Yeah, but Sanskrit, I mean, I wish I knew Sanskrit, but there's so many common roots with English. There was a guy in Clubhouse. He's a Sikh guy.
I know.
Oh my God. So much. He knows so much about all this.
He was obsessed with language, and he was a Sanskrit fanatic. So basically, like Shiva said, Deepak said, you could write it. It's such a strong oral tradition. You could basically write it in any script. And there were like 36 distinct scripts in India of 36 very different languages.
What I find more fascinating about Indian languages is the alphabet. The way the alphabets are arranged. They're arranged based on which part of the mouth you speak it from, right?
Yeah.
So, it's like the first
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
No, there's basically a map of the human mouth and how the alphabets are arranged based on which part of the mouth is used to utter the alphabets. The front of the tongue, the top of the tongue, the open mouth and the closed mouth, and that's how it's phonetic in that sense.
Yeah, correct. Like Kannada, I know how to read and write. I don't speak very well. Hindi, also I know how to read and write and speak, but completely different scripts, like gobsmackingly different. No, Shiva?
Yeah, the scripts are very different. I mean, like I'm from Orissa, so the Odia script is very circular, and anything below Orissa becomes very, very more curvy. But above Orissa, it's very straight. Apparently, they used to write on palm leaves in Orissa. In palm leaves, you have to make circular symbols. Right? But in North India, they had different kinds of leaves. So you could actually not cut the leaf, even if you write straight. You see? That is why the language becomes curvy as you go down south.
Shiva, what do you think about Buddhism in general?
I think, Buddhism is very inspired by Hinduism. Okay, like karma and dharma are the central core aspects of Hinduism, and Buddhism is taken. This Buddha was Hindu. He had a Hindu guru, so he took all that. What it negates is consciousness, which is kind of weird. That's another core. And it negates the caste system, which is fine. I mean, But I think the Buddhists don't have a complete realistic approach to life. They don't have a complete. They only have the ascetic part, very focused on philosophy and asceticism and monkhood, the renunciate, but they don't have a solution to a married life. How does a married person live in society? How does a warrior live in society? How does the tax collector live in society? I mean, that is missing, and obviously that's missing because they have rejected the caste system entirely. So I that's one reason I think Buddhism is not a very scalable model.
Not pragmatic.
So the Japanese.
Yeah, not pragmatic.
Yeah, not pragmatic. So the Japanese took Buddhism, right? But they mixed it with Shintoism, and that is how Buddhism thrives in Japan. The Chinese took it and they mixed it with Taoism, and the Buddhists in China are primarily the Shaolin folks, right? Primarily. So everybody has customized Buddhism to their own tastes, and that is how it has survived. But I believe the Hinduism model is slightly more broader, if you will.
That makes sense. There's something I never liked about Buddhism is the idea of what do you mean, the non-self? Like that, there's not an experiencer of experience?
Yeah, the non-self. Negation of it.
That's the best part of it. What are you talking about?
No, literally, literally, all I am is just my conscious, like the fact that I'm experiencing consciousness right now is just like literally all that I am. It's not, and like denying it is just pure madness. Like, why am I experiencing these experiences and not your experiences? Why? Because I'm me. Because I'm this consciousness and not that consciousness. Like, that's the reason why I'm having these experiences.
Yeah, and it goes in and out, kind of. Like, it's like there's nothingness, the consciousness enters and leaves, and you become nothingness again. And something. Yeah. The thing is, I don't think Buddha actually went into the depth of this philosophy in that sense. I think the followers of Buddha put together the philosophy of Buddhism, like Nagarjuna is a very, very famous.
So good, yeah.
Scholar. So I don't know how much Buddha said and how much the others said. I'm not very familiar with their traditions, but there's a general acceptance of Buddhism within Hinduism, right? We worship Buddha like a god in Hinduism, so it is.
So like the doctrine started to form much later on. Shiva's right about that, and it's mostly like circulated around the concept of the ego. So you'll have like a lot of writings about the ego, like comparing it to a room in which it is necessary, and yet it's something you visit very seldomly. You're not a permanent dweller. So every now and then, like Shiva was saying, the nothingness breathes in and out of you. And the ego would be like the tool for survival. And that's where the function of it stops. The observer, however, is the agent that puts ego in the backseat. So when Sam is experiencing the world, it is not Sam in the world. It is Sam looking at Sam from the balcony. So then the indulgence becomes lesser. So the ego gets bored because it needs to be fed in the indulgence. And in that, there is liberation.
Yeah, it's getting so. I want to read you a philosopher lady that I like, and she goes, desire describing as negative.
Did you know 99% of the people can't hear the difference between real bass and fake bass? Are you part of the 1%? Let's find out. I'm gonna play 2 bass.
Plausible but obvious, or interesting but implausible. So I feel like there's that tension of like, are you making the strong or the weak claim? It's the Mott or the Bailey. When you say I'm not a self, are you just saying that there's not a thing that doesn't change over time? And of course, But if you're saying like literally, there's not an experiencer of experiences, well, I don't think so, bro.
Yeah, so you're acknowledging the experience. So this experience that is not
It's
indulgent.
new art.
39.
Some thoughts about that
You
too.
told
All right.
39 slides in here. I told printing this wouldn't even take long. You feel
Yeah, we need it to be long because the people demand slop, and I'm here to provide it with the best.
But the experience of Sam is watching Sam. And then that is the experience of Sam.
That sounds like Vedanta to me.
It is. But they all are like a monster.
No, but Vedanta and Buddhists, they disagree with each other. The Buddhists and the Vedantists
They do.
disagree. About
Yeah, no, what Nargis just said sounded like Vedanta to me. I don't.
Bro.
No.
Bro.
Dude.
Bro.
Like, give me 5 minutes.
Bro.
That's all it takes.
Bro.
I'm not acting right now.
Who's saying bro?
Bro.
Shut the
Yo,
fuck up.
bro. Comedian.
Hey, bro.
Okay, Les, you have to be the daughter now.
Hey, bro.
And whoever comedian is, that's shit. Oh, there it is. Alright, that fixed it. I'm sorry. When we're doing things like that, and I get
4 different ways to, get the path of pleasure, you get the path of the family, you get the path of the community, you get the path of the visionary, whereas like the Buddhists are like, nah, all you want to do is just fucking meditate, that's the best way to live life, and that the best thing out of life is to just stop existing, because life is just suffering. Like, it's very anti-life philosophy. Like, Hinduism is so obviously full of like life and color and like blah blah blah, whereas like Buddhism is like, nah, bro, everything's dukkha. Everything's fucking dukkha, bro. Like,
Everything is rooted in dukkha, but not everything is dukkha. So the idea is to be free of suffering, and that comes from detachment. To acknowledge that attachment is the cause of that suffering, and not to say you detach from the world, to engage in it, yet not to attach to it. You can be shunyata, or the zero of nothingness. At the same time, you are so hum. You are that universe, all of it.
That's kind of the Gita itself. The Gita is all about detachment from the consequences of your actions, right? I mean, you just act in the world. The consequence is not in your control. So Buddhists, I mean, they take a lot from Hinduism, and I think the later Hindus took a lot from Buddhism, yet they don't agree with each other. So I'm kind of vague on what they don't agree. It's like positive versus a negative copy of the same image. They're talking about the same thing in different ways. Feels like that.
The disagreement would be the dwet, I think, because somewhere, or the poly, the many necessaries, that would be like a massive distinction between the two. So far as Advaita Vedanta goes, I think they would, although they say they are contrary to each other or they fight amongst each other, the schools, I think there's so many common denominators.
Yeah, I would agree. I guess. I mean, there's people who completely debunk me on this, but with my level of knowledge, I think I would agree with that.
I don't know, bro. I think that they disagree very fundamentally on the nature of the self, and I think they disagree very strongly on just how much suffering is the main focus of what your thoughts should be about. Like, whether life is only about alleviating suffering. That's like a big disagreement,
Sorry, you bitches are so attached to the problem of evil. For God's sake, here comes a formula that's telling you there is a way out. From this
Until I got really introduced to Western religions. I mean, I call them Western, but obviously not Western. But yeah, I mean, regardless of whether you believe or follow the Buddhist philosophy or Hindu philosophy, if you believe in karma, you're good. In India, you're good. Everybody believes in karma in some form or another. But if that is missing, then
yeah.
good luck.
And Abrahamics stress a lot on karma too, I think. In fact, they go so far as to like a lot heaven and hell. You know, I think they just take, and the comparison between Abrahamics and Eastern religions is just apples and oranges. I don't know why there used to be debate rooms, guys, between like the Hindutvas and the super fundamentalist Islamists. The debate didn't make sense. The models are completely different.
Now, how does karma exist in Abrahamic? I don't see it.
Abrahamics, for every atom of good, like if you're looking at it from the Quranic lens, the outcome or the effect is good. For every particle of bad, the effect is evil, etc. So there is a sense of like heavy accountability sort of shown within the Abrahamics.
No. I'm not. It's not about good and bad so much. Karma is about the
actions. Yeah.
The eternal consequences of your actions that nobody can change for you. There's no interference of a god to change your destiny. Even when God takes an avatar and comes down in human form, I don't like to use the word God, but okay. When Rama and Krishna came down to earth and took a human form, even they had to suffer the consequences of the karma.
Yeah, there's no escapism. Yeah, there's no escape from it. And the model is necessitarian, like in so many ways. And I think Abrahamics too can fit into that necessitarian model, depending on how depending on how your God model looks like.
And it is not faith-based either. Karma is action-based, not faith-based. But the Abrahamic religions are faith-based. I mean, if you believe in Christ, you are going to heaven. If you follow the words of Muhammad and the Quran, you are going to heaven in the end, right? You'll be forgiven. Your sins will be forgiven. In Hinduism, that concept doesn't exist.
Correct.
You can believe whatever the hell you want. If you have done bad or good, you will get the consequences in some life, if not this one. And so continues. I believe
Garden's position is Garden's position, but I don't think he can find anywhere written explicitly or even implied that man was created for the purpose to die. He can't find that. I'm scouring my memory banks of the New Testament. I don't even recall reading New Testament authors writing anything similar. Paul says, through one man, death entered into the world, or sin entered the world and sin through death, meaning that through that man's decision that he made, and not that he was made to make that decision or made to die, but that is a consequence of his own decision. So I'm interested in this debate. As I said, is inconsequential. You see how this narrative in Genesis was viewed and interpreted, and is not interpreted in the light in which God is attempting to convince us here on the stage tonight. That's all. I'm going back on.
And just a side commercial, a big shout out to Black Jesus for holding some of the best debates on Clubhouse. I mean, I gotta shout it out, man. It's entertaining, even the in between action and the comic star power. You're killing it with helping being a co-host to all of that, man. That y'all got that thing on lock. It keeps you kind of wired and in tune with it. I appreciate that, man. It's very entertaining, very good, very educational. Black Jesus, man, what a platform. So shout out to Black Jesus. Shout out to those who help in those debates, Star Power. Just really good, man. Y'all are very animated. Black Jesus being one of the most animated. Just hyping it up, man. Good stuff. If y'all have never checked out one of the debate leagues, debates, please feel free to do so. So just a side note, it's very entertaining, very fun, very educational. Back to it. Anybody else want to get in there before we get dragged?
Yeah. Just me real quick. Because God said I can read Philo and his disagree. So I don't know if that was directed towards me, God, but in case it was, I can read Philo too. I have his primary sources here.
He might buy a knife with it and come and stab you, or stab somebody else. But the intention was good, but the results were bad. So karma is unpredictable in that sense, but by and large, in the bigger cycle of the
That's
universe,
not karma.
if you generally do good things will come to you.
What the fuck? How did CM fucking get in here?
Wait, why was CM's profile in Arabic?
First off, how did he get in here? Why was it in Arabic? Wait, but Shiva, I have a question. If you see someone who's like a beggar on the street who's miserable, should I just assume that they did bad shit in the past? Is that the reasonable, like, that somehow their soul in the past was bad?
Yeah, sort of. My objection is you're stating this notion of cause and effect on an infinite chain of unpredictable things. What's the value of labeling that something other than chaos?
No, it's not chaos because it is like since the Big Bang.
No, my question was first. My question was before we said question. Sorry. Should you just
not give money to beggars?
Should you assume that the beggar did bad stuff?
Oh no. So that's a good question, right? I mean, if you see a beggar, obviously he's begging because he has bad karma for some reason. But if you do not help him, that is your fucking bad karma. If you don't, charity is a huge part of Hindu thinking. I mean, like I said, if somebody dies, we invite 100 people over for meals from the street. If somebody is born, we invite 100 people. We're supposed to. Not everybody does it. You're supposed to invite 100 people and feed them. You're not supposed to spend the money by yourself. So, yes, you have an understanding as to why somebody is sick or why somebody is unfortunate, or why somebody is successful. You have an understanding, a philosophical understanding of why that is happening to them. But if you don't get involved, if you don't intersect or interject and help them, then it is your bad karma, and you're going to suffer for that, right? That's how it works.
And what determines which actions are in line with good karma versus bad karma?
Yeah, so that is where dharma comes in, right? Dharma and your intellect. So the link between dharma is the right action, karma is just action.
Yeah.
Dharma is the way you should be working. What should you do? That is dharma.
Right, where's that come?
That comes from a lot of things, but intellect is one. Your intellect should be, you should train your
Comes from
intellect
wisdom,
throughout your life to
bitch.
become better at recognizing good from bad. It is called the discrimination between good and bad. Advaita Vedanta goes into very good details about the discrimination between the subject and the object.
Okay, so like circling back again, if the karma is the element of the endless chain
All
of
good
cause and
things
effect,
come from Torah.
this arma or dharma, whichever, is the correct action, and you're saying that regardless of any of the infinite chain of cause and effect, which are beyond my control, I never concern myself with any of that. That's just like I'm only looking at the good action. So again, you're just telling me to do good things. How does karma help us?
Look, karma is not, it's just the law of nature.
It's necessary. It's a necessary entailment. It's a necessary.
No. What I'm asking is, in what way does this framework of karma assist our moral investigation? When in the end, you're telling me a lot of just so extra of the end results are beyond me or whatever. But in the end, you're just telling me to do good things, and you're not saying based on the results, because the results you're saying no one can determine those. So you're just saying do these good things because they're good things. No.
For the sake of good, you do good for the sake of good itself. That would be dharma, or your duty.
The result is not predictable. Doesn't mean you will not get good results. You might get good results in some other form. For example, if you give somebody $10, you might have a happy morning, but you may not get the $10 back. You see, the results are unpredictable because the universe acts in mysterious ways. But in the end, sorry.
What, like, you're saying that it's unpredictable. Why wouldn't it just be more predictable? That if you do a good act of, like, giving $10, that $10 will find its way back to you? Wouldn't that be, like, simpler?
Well, that's what Krishna says in the Gita, just do your actions and do not worry about results. Because if you get involved in the results, then your actions will not be unbiased. It will not be without selflessness. You know, you have to be selfless in your action.
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
for the
it
sake of
distracts
good.
you.
Giving for the sake of giving itself. That would be, so the minute it becomes transactional, that's when, like, you've lost the plot. That's what it's saying.
Yeah, like they give many examples from the Mahabharata where, you know,
Why does it matter
there's a
what I want out of my actions?
Say that again.
Why would it matter if I wanted to give the $10 to feel good about myself or to help the person or for the innate goodness of the action? Why would any of those motives matter?
It is your duty to do so. That's the
It's my duty to do so and not for the sake of the poor guy or for myself?
For the sake of goodness itself, for the worthiness of this thing called goodness or charity.
Okay, if I do it for the sake of the worthiness of good stuff, and I do that because my mom told me I should always do that, and I really want my mom to be proud of me because I love her very much, am I then doing it altruistically or not?
No, that's the thing. Like, is it really altruistic then? Because this is why I think altruism is such a BS concept. Because somewhere we get involved. I'm doing it to make her happy, to feel good. All this goes back to the self. But true selflessness, which I don't think really exists. So far as self exists, selfless exists, right? Even selfless is the word self in them. But so far as one can, to their best human potential, achieve goodness for the sake of good itself, instead of for the sake of the self.
Yeah, so the definition of dharma, dhar in Sanskrit is to hold or to uphold. Dharma, that's where it comes from. The root word is to uphold. So there are some universal cosmic principles that you must uphold as a human being. So you act for the sake of dharma. You don't act for the sake of yourself or your mom or even your guru. And guru is who teaches you the dharma, right? Your guru, your teacher, your books, your ancestors. You know, everything that is good teaches you dharma. Even an animal can teach you dharma, right? If they do something good, you know. Good is a very overloaded word, so I don't like to use
I
the word.
hate the word. It's so cringy.
Yeah. But do you understand? So, for example, this is what I explained. I'm trying to get married, and Hindu women have forgotten what marriage is about, you know. And I heard a Jewish person, actually a Jewish rabbi, talk about marriage, and it completely resonated with what we were saying, is that you don't get married because you fell in love with somebody, right? Because you might fall out of love with them. You get married for the sake of getting married, which is a higher cause for society, to create structure, order in society, so you can have children with parents. And those children will look up to you, and then those children will have their children, and they'll be turning out to be good human beings. So the point is, yeah, I guess you get the point.
Yeah. Like, duty here would be nothing but to act in accordance with your essence. That's it. With the idea of your highest human potential. So that is your duty towards yourself, to be true to your essence.
So you do charity for the sake of charity, because charity is a dharmic thing to do, not because of the beggar, not because for you, not because of mom, whatever.
Yeah,
Nobody.
I'll die for you, but I will not live for the sake of you, like Ayn Rand said. Oh, she's atheist. Something like that.
So the question is,
there is no for the sake of. It just is, because that's the very nature of good. It exists. The nature of evil too exists. However, one picks good for the sake of good itself, and not for any other. Something like that. I mean, it's so idealistic. I don't know how it works in the real.
Do you think you have an obligation to, see your talents and temperaments be exercised? Do you think there's something like sinful about, suppose, I don't know, you have a really smart boy who's would be really good at science, but he decides to just become a farmer?
Yeah.
Is there something sinful about that?
Yeah, it's criminal. So when your highest human potential is X, and you want to be whatever X minus 4, then it's sort of criminal to not be X.
Yeah, I think Krishna talks about this in the Gita, right? And he says, it is better to do the duty assigned to you than do somebody else's duty for them, even though you think you can do it better. I think one of the examples he cites is if Arjuna, the warrior, renunciates war, then how will society function, right? If the soldier in the battlefield says, you know what, war is bad, and I'm going to kill somebody, so I'm going to just drop my weapon and run and go back to society and build my house or get married or whatever. So the soldier is renunciating his duty of war, and you cannot do that. That will lead to chaos. If everybody starts doing that, it will lead to chaos. So just do the duty assigned to you. But the question is, who assigns you that duty? And that's a very complex question, because you have to go into social structure, order, caste, whatever, system, whatever.
How do I get like a chauffeur who turns out to be an avatar of one of the three creator deities of the universe who can explain all these things to me?
Ask Neil Gaiman.
This is why we love Mars. Sassy.
Last time I looked at the Bhagavad Gita, and when Krishna was like trying to explain to Arjuna why he should be killing him, basically it seemed like he was saying like, don't worry about the killing, it's your duty, everything's preordained. Also, you're just killing the temporary bodies, you're not destroying their eternal souls.
Yeah.
And like, don't just trust me, I know better. And like, I was like, none of these are good justifications for killing people. And the only one that was like the good justification was like, well, if you don't act, it will lead to greater chaos, suffering, and injustice. Like, that was the only one that I was like, yeah, that makes sense. The rest was like crazy to me.
It's ironic. It's the anti-karma argument.
Exactly.
I mean,
So many contradictions.
I think it's, even though it's like very metaphysically loaded, I think it's an emotionally very powerful argument and scene. Like, there is something really moving and beautiful about this sort of personalized avatar of cosmic destiny just beaming down to earth and explaining to you that you have a capital D duty to the universe and that's all you need to focus on. And the duty involves like doing cool militaristic things and winning at war. Like, I can understand why a warrior society would like this explanation.
Yeah, no, the thing is, the whole point of Krishna was detach yourself from your attachments, which is the fact that they're your brothers. Should you not fight with them because they're your brothers? Even though they're doing adharma, they're doing bad, evil in society. Even though they want to, disrobe your wife and rape her or whatever. Even though they have taken the land away from you, the little bit of land that you are assigned, would you not fight with them because they're your cousins? So he's just saying do your duty, but Arjuna doesn't listen. He doesn't care about duty. He's just too overwhelmed with emotion. So Krishna gives an emotional argument. And Arjuna is not convinced by that either. So then Krishna goes on to show his universal form. Like, I'm God. I'm the universe itself speaking to you.
Yeah.
And that is the point at which Arjuna just says, okay, I hear you and I'm going to fight.
Yeah, there's beauty in that paradox. There really is.
Yeah, so the thing is, this is the point Krishna makes also the Gita is that, there are some people who will just be convinced by knowledge. Some people who are just inspired by knowledge, the Jnana Yogis. Some people are inspired by beauty, the sense of beauty, the Karma Yogis. But some other people are just inspired by bhakti. People who love me. Turns out to be the last one. No logic appeals to him. No philosophy appeals to him. So
It's got a Neoplatonic model, like a gradation or hierarchy of different potentials. So these potentials being shown in mostly what one is assigned to do, again, dharmic, with a duty towards that which one is best at. So you'll sort of see this theme repeat itself, not just in the Easterns, but I think even Abrahamics can fit well into the Neoplatonic model. And so there's some sort of, if you're trying to find a common denominator, then this would be like the model that is all encompassing. Like even Krishna, the paradox is so beautifully, I think, explained through the Hindu lens, that when he's a child and he's like just playing with mud and rubbish and dirt, it's Krishna, right? And he picks up some mud and just eats it. His mother Yashoda comes running almost to beat him. And then she says, open your mouth. And when he opens it, in Krishna's mouth, she sees the entire world. So although his act was worthy of punishment, yet it
that's a tale from his younger days, of Krishna. Yeah, but in the end, these are just stories. Who knows? I mean, I'm a Hindu, but I don't have to believe the stories. I just have to believe the message and understand the message. And that's all that matters. We're not going to treat somebody's foot. When you do things in your life, you start seeing. Was this his chariot? I mean, nobody really cares so much about it. I love AR, especially see the thing about a lot of people make fun of this because we have all the but I think it brings so much power, it brings so much power, it brings so much power to the story and
it doesn't care for particulars. I don't have to believe in a Jesus or call this God Jesus to be a Christian. I don't have to call this God Allah to be a Muslim. For example, the Abrahamics seem to be far more like refined in a way that they give so much framework and sort of stick to particulars as well as principles. But in Hinduism, probably because of its age, there's so much like pictorial depiction of the principle itself. And it sort of lives within the principle. Symbolism, it lives within that.
Yeah, like every part of Shiva has a meaning. His snake has a meaning. His Damru has a meaning. His trident has a meaning. Like the Ganesh has a rat below him. The Ganesh.
Yeah, he rides.
Ganesh's favorite animal.
He rides on a rat chariot, and he eats laddus, like round sweets. Like all this I learned from my guru, but it's truly a beautiful story.
You can package up.
How much for this giant freezer?
How much?
$2.50 4 times. Okay. Is that on sale, do you know? I'm not sure. Taxes. It's okay, cash. I got about 5 cubic feet of food put in. Yeah. I would have to do this one outside. Oh, yeah? What is it, dog? Oh, it's to the right. I'll come with you. Do you guys accept tips?
No, we don't.
No? What about a gift card?
No, we can't.
Nothing.
Alright, well, thank you.
Thanks, man. Want to bring it here? I can bring it up. It's up to you. This is pretty light, too. Thanks, man. Have a good day. I appreciate it. Let me give you something else, too. That's okay. Another gift card for helping me. Thank you so much. How much for this?
In place. So what was happening was Hammurabi was saying like, okay, if you steal, they're gonna cut your hand. It's you have to pay for that action.
It's trying to be nice.
So the philosophy of humanity kind of changed that time. But Hinduism is a very beautiful and peaceful religion. Those are a series of books and religions coming from and very ancient. And part of it is also in Persia. We call it Azosri. So these are the books. It's dates from long time ago, and they are technically referring to aliens or Aryans, some upper people. Okay, so these in this contest, there are gods. There are gods who created us. Okay, and that's another phase of humanity, thoughtfulness and philosophy. So, but Ibrahimi, she said, one of the ladies, she said very, very well said. She said at that time they are saying like, okay, if you are Christian, you have to believe in Jesus. That's a rule number one. So that's very true. She very pointed to the very point. So in this case, there would be conflict. If there is rules, there always will be conflict. So in this conflict, you have to choose. You have to choose sides. You cannot be, like, no, everything is good. Let's do this. Let's do good things. Everything good. It's not working. You have to choose sides. Thank you. I'm here to.
Mark, Sam, I'm your chariot driver in this room, and I'm telling you, it's your duty to bring Sam back up. It's like your dharma.
It is like a
I'm lobbying a long time.
I keep him down, so I can't bring him back up. So you got to bring him back up.
Yeah, why don't you ride Mark a little, like the rat chariot and the chariot rat?
Okay. I took on my cosmic form and invited him back up.
I like that we're facing the same way, Mark.
Hi, Daniel.
Both, hello.
Very fitting.
Like you're. I don't know if you can. What I see is I'm behind you right now. I'm like you're the rat.
Are you also in the Pantheon in Rome?
But of course, it befits His Majesty that.
That's the Pantheon?
Yeah, it's
yeah.
It's just an old photo I had that carried over from my Twitter account automatically when I downloaded it.
I never went inside, but I did go there.
Why? Why didn't you?
Because it is a place of idol worship.
Oh, really, Mexad? So since Mexad and me are Epicureans, it is our duty.
Not an Epicurean.
Shut the fuck up. It is our human duty to reach our pleasures and desires to our highest human potential. Is that not true, Mexad?
I do think that it is man's obligation to enjoy his life. But I would say Epicureanism is short-sighted only upon man satisfying.
Otherwise, she's.
George, do you have Discord?
No, I don't have. Do you got?
Now you turned Indian for a second. Don't have it. I don't have Discord.
I don't have it.
Don't have Discord?
Do you have it?
I do.
Why do you go on Discord? Like, what would be the difference between Clubhouse and Discord?
Well, it's easier on my computer to send people messages and stuff. Like sometimes I just mark a picture of the population structure of humans by Razib Khan, and like it's hard for them to look at it on here.
I see. It sucks here, by the way, the messaging. Yeah, like I was dying to share with you the voice message I got from Bhagavad from yesterday, the king.
Alright, make a Discord. This is your homework for tonight. Alright, just so you're gonna make a Discord, and then you're gonna have you'll add me.
I don't know if I want more social media in that.
Don't even use it as social media. Just have it as a messaging prop. Make it like a more convenient. I use it to message like Mark and Timothy and Ethan and Albedo and stuff more efficient.
Share your number.
Alright, fine. But then,
Why don't you just start a signal group?
Yeah, like a second group. That would be nice, actually. We used to have one. I think are you still on that signal group? We used to have one, I think.
yeah, I had it for like 24 hours.
CM, greetings, brother. How are you? It's been
Allah
forever.
Namaste.
Namaste, Satsukara.
Yeah, bro, why are you
Yes.
so lonely out here?
Nah,
All day.
I'm in a different mood. Yeah, yes, I can. Give me a sec.
I swear that sounds like a female version of
Let's
Rubs.
No, man. Still, again, I'm trying to post a freaking link
Right.
to it.
Start
If anybody's actually interested in having a conversation where there's no mods necessary. We don't need a fucking king to decide fucking who gets censored and who doesn't.
Yeah, just anarchy.
Anarchy!
I mean, like Sam said, he said it the second he saw me. How the fuck is CM on stage, or how's he even in the room? He obviously know I'm in the room.
Good gentleman.
Get some like all together.
What did your profile say?
Humble.
Because literally,
However,
like your reasons don't like basically.
a
It's
4-year-old.
nothing to do with substance. Has nothing to do with substance. Again, because I told you we agree on like 98% almost everything.
Just stop interrupting my friends and myself.
No, I know that's your answer completely, but I mean that's your answer always. But again, that's your answer when I push you to this. When I put you in this corner, what normally happens is you just say some bullshit and move me to the audience just the second you see me. Again, like only Andrew gets more triggered when he sees me. Just like my mere presence. I haven't even unmuted. I haven't even said a single word.
Okay, CM.
Just my mere presence.
Can
So
I
I
put
don't know.
something
If you guys want to have a conversation here,
Look.
where
To be a gentleman, honest, and humble, as my father advised me. However, a 40-year-old
I can
can't
understand,
compete with a 26-year-old
when
in
the
some
room gets too big,
athletics. She doesn't want to have a kid. She wants to travel and find a good king like all
there's
women.
people literally trolling and just cursing or saying crazy shit, whatever.
Daniel,
Of course, yes.
by the
You
way,
gotta
your picture is very disturbing.
mod. You have to actually
Yeah,
use your
she
mod
does.
ability.
No, she does.
You're
like
turning
that.
on, CM. You're fucking turning
But
on.
if that's not the case, no.
Dan, let me just ask you a quick
I've had to
question,
make this
brother. What
I've had to make this point.
what do you think is going on when someone like disagrees with you or pushes back on you? Is it because
Matthew's the biggest douche on Clubhouse.
Yeah,
no, but what do you think?
Daddy was talking to you. Like, why
Tim, what do you think is going on there?
No,
When people disagree with you and they try and correct you,
No, it was,
what's happening there?
again, I was pretending to be Muslim.
Oh, okay.
I told you, Matthew, your biggest critics are not.
Dude,
So see.
Your biggest
by the
critics.
way,
She does like us, hate me, but the fact she watches me usually wants to see me as a genuine message. We shall see.
Listen to me. We don't care about your past.
It's not my problem. This is Matthew's problem. This is what I'm trying to tell you. What, Daniel? No, Daniel. Oh, I thought Daniel left. Okay,
No,
now
bro.
Daniel, what did you say about what? What
Alright,
do
so
you think people disagree? What do you say?
You agree that there are some pretty smart people on here, and
There's very few left. No, there's very
Okay.
few.
and they tend to disagree with you at times, and I wonder why you think that is the case. What is happening when they're disagreeing?
Again, I just finished saying there's very few left. Who are you talking about who's quote unquote disagreeing with you? Are you talking about Mahdi? Are you talking about who are you talking about?
You want to like actually
Well, the majority of
throw
it.
accusations
Who
out.
knows? I don't.
Have the balls to say names.
I don't ask questions. I
It's
just,
funny you
I
gotta
just,
take a picture as your profile picture.
just
So
generally
didn't he just get sentenced to like 80 years?
just trying to be in the moment.
Mark, can we?
We would like to know. Sorry, we would like to know where the Arabic on your profile comes from.
Yeah, yeah. What does it say?
Again,
Her
all
mom
of that
was
is
sick.
obvious.
Who knows? I don't ask questions. Just generally be in the moment. Enjoy the moment.
Just like Sam has me banned from this room, Sam's house, or whatever. So
Oh, she,
any room, if I want to come to a room, if I want to come
she frisked
to
me
a
like
room
a
where
pub.
Narges and Matthew are in here, the only way I could is through an alt account. I can't. This room doesn't even appear on
No,
my.
I get that, but why does your alt account have an Arabic profile?
Because it's obvious.
Yeah, I don't choose none of them. I didn't choose none of them. I just got a random phone number and used it to make an alt account.
Yeah, but where the Arabic come
Literally,
from?
it just happened to be an Arabic person who did the same shit I did to make a fucking alt
You know,
account.
she's
They put like
super
a
on the
fucking,
spectrum.
auto generate a fucking US phone number. Also, you can receive the SMS, the little text message.
You know, she's
They
super on the
generated the same
spectrum.
fucking number, got the SMS sent, and they were able to log in and make
I know she's
alt
super on the
account.
spectrum.
It's crazy that you can log in from
Trying to go to the phone.
someone else's phone number, even if it's a phone number someone else.
It's not somebody else. These
it's
aren't
politics.
people's actual phone numbers. These are
Politics is intense.
burner accounts.
You gotta
Like,
be
for
tough.
example, the people who have the websites where they offer this service for free, it's all big. I mean, obviously they're making money somehow. If not, they can't keep the website. They pay for like the cheapest for just to have like SMS abilities for 100
It's a roast.
phone numbers around the United States with every area code you can think of: 305, 514.
Nothing.
Houston area.
There's a rule. You're allowed to interrupt
It's a
CM. Everyone,
roast.
no one else. You're not allowed to interrupt anyone except for CM. You're allowed to interrupt
Nothing.
CM.
It's a roast. Come on.
Game throws on.
Yeah, no.
Throws other people.
Hold on.
If I say something stupid,
Yeah, you're allowed to just completely talk
if
over.
I say something that's completely wrong,
Doesn't matter at all. These are games.
What is it called? What is that thing called?
please interrupt me correctly.
You don't listen. That even if he interrupts you, it doesn't matter. Sam, you're not listening.
No, most of the time I wouldn't be talking.
I can't copy and
Especially
paste
with any,
profile to do it.
like,
Like it literally doesn't copy and paste it, so I have no idea what it means, but I can't. For sure. Mark will never.
Yeah, you could use Google Voice too, but Google Voice there's more steps.
We just need an Arabic speaker. We just need an Arabic speaker. Yeah. Ilias, come up.
It says Rabsu. That's what his name says. But I mean, I'm reading the version.
Yeah, you're right, Ilias. So, Sam,
What does it mean? What is Rabsu?
Huh?
That's what your name is, by the way.
I don't know what it means. I have no idea. I didn't choose any of this. The act, Harley.
I'm supposed to call you.
Again, you see the whole. I can't really tell differences. Either Arabic or Farsi.
What flag is that?
The whole profile is Arabic.
Mark is dying, right?
I think
I get
it's
changed
definitely
all
some Middle Eastern flag.
Yeah, obviously Middle Eastern, but is it?
Is it maybe Egypt or Iraq or something?
Where's the flag?
Yeah, it's
No, it's most likely Farsi.
it's Egyptian. It's Arabic.
Yeah, it's
And the flags are Egyptian. Yeah, it's probably like a Muslim Brotherhood. I think Sim joined the Muslim Brotherhood.
I like
The bio seems to be like
Okay, so
Egyptian army.
because of CMS to labor under the yoke. Egyptian national
militia, bro. It's the Egyptian militia. Like.
I wish I could drop a pyramid on his head. Wait, so what is this profile say, Elias? What is? Oh wait, no,
looking at his profile. Oh man, there's the fun in that.
Do that, Rob's
For her.
about.
Invite him back up.
What happened to your Odia account?
I think he wrote some like Egyptian kind of like librarian. Just took his phone.
Good for
I'm gonna need
her.
this.
Odia, that's what you were yesterday.
Mark, are you able to invite him back up or no?
Believe
Sorry,
it.
what was the question?
Believe it.
I keep him down too many times. It doesn't let me bring him back up. So I need
Believe it.
to bring him back up.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm up to my dude.
Rat chariot.
I won't.
Yo, hey guys, the bio was fixed.
Yo, it was funny. Yeah, you destroyed like a great work of art.
I don't care. That girl's
You lost your identity, Robster.
They're gonna have to rewrite their bio. They probably have it copy and pasted from like a different social media shit.
We might have to ban you again or block you so that you're forced to generate a new SMS number with a different Arabic code.
Nah, it might not even be Arabic.
I knew it. He'd go for some other.
Alright, so Mark, can you give CM a math question that's like reasonably
No,
hard?
yo, again, every room that I'm in doesn't need to be that's a quiz, you know. It's like I've passed more exams than all of you combined. Literally. Can we actually talk about something substantive?
Let's talk about math, yeah.
Whether
it's very substantive.
I think math is a good. Math is good.
Yes. No, and I have plenty of math groups. I suggest you join them. Cecily, you're in the audience. You too. Join when I have the rooms of the House of Reason or my math and physics club.
You think you could pass Mark's test?
Math is bad. This like is absurd. Do you guys remember in the fucking news when it said when they were saying math racist?
Hello. You think you could pass Mark's exam?
Can you imagine?
Mark has an exam for you. Mark has an exam for you.
Mark has an exam for you.
I'm not taking any exams.
Please.
If you take his exams and you pass the exam, I will unblock you.
And make him a moderator.
Yeah, make you a.
I don't want to be moderator. We don't need moderators.
I will unblock your profile.
As long as you don't have trolls or too many people on stage, we don't need moderators.
If you pass his exam, I will unblock you, and I'll bury that shit.
Well, who are you? TM, do you think that you're being persecuted?
History and love life.
Is that the idea?
Look, yo, Andrew just joined my fucking room. Guess what happened? If you click on the link, Andrew's here. Oh shit, what's up, Andrew?
He thinks the reason that he's being persecuted on here or blocked is because he knows too much.
Everything is but
I'm not gonna know too much. Look, I know a lot
What is it that you know?
about the shit that I know about. I don't talk about stuff that I don't know.
And people are offended by that and blocking you. Is that right?
That's great. That's great for them.
fallen.
Let them do it.
Why are they doing it? Why?
They can do it to their heart's content.
Why would they do that? Such a thing.
What I
They can
have,
learn from you.
the capital T truth is not up to me or
How
them
much easier?
or their opinion or my. Like the truth is the truth and that's it. There's nothing else to talk about. So I don't care what they believe.
No matter what.
Or I don't care what they
Let
believe.
it go. My
If
dating
they're
history and
making
love life
claims
told me
about
everything is best for the day. Better to go within and fall in love. It's easier when you're
overlap with things that we know about, like science. Like for example, nobody cares about religion when they're making claims about things that. So Stephen Jay Gould used to call it. He had an acronym for it, MoMA or something, or NOMA.
Yeah, the non-overlapping theory.
Exactly. So this concept of non-overlapping hysteria. Well, first of all, I completely disagree with it. It's bullshit. The religion and science. Yeah.
Remember, guys, we can interrupt CM. That's the rule of the house, is that you are allowed to interrupt you. Just to be clear, this fucking guy that fucking drones on like a fucking. You're a fucking drone,
She
bro.
wants a jail part to pay
We
the
want to
way
know
she
if
selfies the
you can
world.
fucking pass Mark's math
I just
test.
want to
No, you can do it.
eat
You
Torah.
no more drama left.
Go to Montrose Beach.
You are good at math. Given that you cannot answer normal
I
questions,
just want to
about
retire
normal
and go to
things,
Montrose Beach.
why do you think they do that? Like Daniel asked you, why do you think they do that?
I
You
don't
answer
think
some
it's
random
stupid
other
math
question that
question.
isn't that. You answer some random other question that isn't that.
Being good at
Then
math.
if you can't answer
Oh,
questions,
shit.
it's unlikely that you can do mathematical
She knows
derivation,
someone.
which require a certain level of precision of mind.
She knows
You have to
someone.
notice the difference between subtle mathematical.
324.
Yeah, what
I
is
know you ask me some shit like that. I can't compute it.
She knows someone's.
I would
No,
need
no,
to do the same shit everybody
Do me a favor.
does. Pull out a calculator and tell you the
It'd be a
answer.
fair test.
It would not be a
Okay, break it. Okay, get your TI 83.
Yeah, get your calculator out.
Random numbers.
Listen, Mark
It's
is
about
very
the
generous
fucking theory
here.
of division.
He doesn't listen to anything.
Look, Centimere, please. Take Mark's exam and shut us all up. We'll eat our words and our tears as you soar.
Hey, yo, you guys want to go to a room and have an actual discussion? I think the link is posted.
Why do people?
It's not. It's in the House of Reason.
I just want to retire and go to Montrose Beach.
That you intimidate Rumo.
Yo,
And it's
Daniel,
supposed to
you're
travel
welcome.
part to pay their way as
Whatever.
selfies the world.
And they block you
So
because
is
you
Sam.
know too much. You know
I'm
too
a
much,
moderator.
so they want to censor you. Is that right?
That's right.
It's a sick world.
It has nothing to do with you knowing way too little.
It's
Right?
me and Mark and Daniel and Matthew and Ilias and Shino, we all get along just fine. But they all hate you, and you have no explanation for this. You have no hypothesis for this other than
I don't hate you.
other than
Oh,
like style, you like style. Other than your fucking
hate is strong.
Sick world and very few are
Exactly. That's
transparent.
what I'm saying. It's too strong of a word.
we all get along fine.
We understand why you
We all get along fine when it comes to you. I wonder what
Very few
like
are
you.
transparent.
He left me out.
At best, you dislike my style. My again,
Your style is swag.
it's a personal.
She's been,
It's a personal thing. It's has nothing to do with the
She's
substance.
been,
It's both substance and style. It's both form and
she's
substance.
been genuine to me and affectionate.
It's both like the what's that called, the hypostatic? What is that thing in Aristotelian metaphysics where there's like
Not
form of the
disclose
function?
it. Doesn't disclose anything.
Hylomorphism. Yeah, I hate the hylomorphism that is you. I hate the form. I hate the substance. I hate just like everything. You say bad things, but the way you say them is through interrupting.
Affectionate.
You fucking talk over people. You drone on. It's fucking terrible, bro. You talk about things you don't know anything about. Overconfident.
Yeah.
She's been genuine, but
And
not
then you
transparent
claim
and
that you don't
affectionate.
do that. You claim, oh, I never speak about things I don't know anything about, even though you constantly do that.
I'd say the alcohol doesn't help either.
Hold on, guys.
She's been genuine, but not transparent to me and affectionate.
I'm opening the fridge right now, getting up.
She plays the kissing game.
Alright. You won't take the math test, and you deleted the Arabic profile, so I think our time with you is
I
done.
can't
See you.
delete that.
Goodbye, centimeter.
She plays the kiss game.
That's for deleting your bio, Rob.
Yeah, exactly. We wanted to know more about Egyptian nationalism and why you support it.
Oh, see her.
Also, think about the kind of guy who you block them and they make an alt so that they can go into your room like, I blocked you for a reason, dude. What do you think? You think I want you in my rooms, dude? Like, that's why I blocked you. So you don't keep
And to keep your picture on.
I'm not counting my chickens.
Worst camo. Like,
Why would you keep your picture on? Call yourself Rob Soup.
counting my chickens.
It's like
No, the drops of the lost.
Being in the now.
I mean, in fairness, he's been advertising this other room for like an hour.
How's the reason? Oh, I can't do this anymore.
For sure.
I don't mean this in an offensive way. I just don't understand why he's still here. He wants to be in the room for several hours.
He's going to steal us. Is that what you're doing? Or Rob's left?
oh, he's back from the House of Reason.
Oh, no.
No, see, him having a House of Reason is like Hitler having a House of Jews.
I tried to invite him back, but it says he's already been invited.
We would need a new mod to bring him back up.
It doesn't seem fair. I never moved him down.
Yeah, it is.
I can see him. Yeah.
Nargis, I made you moderator for one specific task.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard.
No, she's an
Thank
ace.
you.
No, I can't trust her with that much power. I'm sorry.
Really?
I'm not counting my chickens. Being in the now always, and I just keep it casual. If it doesn't develop in the now, I'm sure.
Hold on. I boomed that room. I told you I was going to boom it. And I boomed it. And I boomed it for a reason. Who did I make mod? Everyone, right? I usually have a communist stage.
It's
I don't trust an example. I put the one thing on.
Make an exam mod. Make an exam.
I absolutely trust the moderator duties, but there's.
Gosh, why do we need mods? We don't need authority. We don't need kings. Like, I mean.
Not just the communists.
I'm known to have communist stages. I can't.
I feel like that should indicate to you the failure of communism and that those rooms.
Yeah, hell yeah. Every single time I have failed.
Yeah. But hey, maybe the next communist state will work.
Maybe.
We won't know unless we give mods to everyone.
Let's do it.
she seems.
By the way, this is so random. But I was thinking about how a lot of Muslims talk about how the universe is expanding is in the Quran, you know? But like, to me, it's way more intuitive that the universe is expanding than that it's shrinking. Like, I'd actually be surprised if any people on Earth, like any like folk people were like, yeah, I bet the universe is shrinking.
Well,
it feels like
does it actually say it's currently expanding, or is it some phraseology of
chickens. Being in the now always, I'll just keep it kosher. If it doesn't develop in the wellness, then sure,
whether it got,
being acquaintance.
It was expanded to its present state, but is now static.
Well, it's pretty intuitive to say that the universe started as an egg, like it hatched from an egg and then expanded out.
Yeah, that's like intuitive. That tracks for you.
Yeah, like, you know, fart out a little egg and then boom, get a universe.
Where did the egg come from?
Chicken.
What gave birth to the egg of the universe? It's an age-old question.
Sam, we all tried to bring you back, but it's not letting us. Our hands are
That's
tied.
alas, I'm too much of a communist to let you upset. By the way, his new name is Muhammad Amr in Arabic. So I wonder whose account this is.
But the handle is Dr. Carly, so I feel like this account has gone through multiple rounds of owners.
It's been deflowered too many times.
The village bicycle.
That's right. He's explaining what it is. Again, it's an alt account. It doesn't, I don't choose any of this.
By the way, Mark, I included the satanic verses in there. It now makes it 21 points, which makes it way less elegant than 20. 20 actually feels more persuasive than 21.
Well, I don't feel the point about how much it curses on believers is really that strong.
Okay, the fact that there's 10% of the book is just talking shit, you don't think that's like a little bit weird and unintuitive that a book would be like?
Dude, it doesn't curse on believers.
It's maybe a little bit weird, but I don't know if I have any prior expectations on what a totally divine message, what its content would be. And insofar as I do, the rest of the Quran doesn't really fit it anyway. Maybe I would expect something truly astoundingly profound, maybe even including lots of like scientific miracles or something. And I mean, the rest of the Quran is obviously not going to be that. So the extra 10%, denigration doesn't seem that much worse.
I'll say that when I first read the Quran, that was the thing. I was expecting it to be like super violent. The message was post 9/11 was that this is violent. And then I was like, yo, this is so repetitive, and it just keeps telling me that I'm gonna burn in hell, like over and over. And I just like was kind of like shocked at the sort of repetitiveness of like, and yes, the unbeliever will burn. Surely they will burn. I'm like, yeah, I got it. Like that's kind of was for me. That was the most like striking thing to me.
I was telling my mom.
Not anything else about it. So.
She was dying laughing.
I think it probably was mirroring some of the preaching that was popular during that time.
Did it a guy like you.
And also, I mean, you could make a case that
absolutely hated.
It would make sense to constantly denigrate believers and disbelievers and warn believers about them. Like, if the most important thing you need to know is that if you don't, submit to Islam, you're going to be tortured for eternity. Like, it's probably good to receive that, have that warning drilled into your head.
She was dying laughing. She said she dated a guy like you who the city absolutely hated, but they had to work with him. He was the boss.
And was so set in their ways that this could have been like what Mark said. Right?
Yeah, we literally
keep the city absolutely hated, but they had to work with him. He was the boss.
It says that you've already been invited. It's either a Clubhouse bug or
fucking
like,
people.
Maybe it's just not. Once you've been moved down too many times, it stops letting us invite you. I don't know what's going on.
Gladly see you.
Just wanted to ask a question. Because I talk with a lot of Muslims, and they say that like
any insults.
Like even some of the stuff I don't know if this is your Google Docs or whatever, but like
insults.
All of that.
Any insults are.
That was
I guess.
The thing at the times, or they'll say it's like a metaphor or
something
like that. Like I've heard like beat lightly with a stick, like not like no bigger than like a toothpick or something like that. And then like it's like a psychological beating, not like a physical beating or something like that. Do you think the authors intended
I will keep
with verses like that the actual physical altercation, or do you think they're writing in sort of a metaphorical standpoint, or like when it says like kill them wherever you find them or something like that? Was that just like a spiritual thing or something? I don't know. The reason why I'm asking this is because this is what a lot of Muslims say today. Like they'll say like
in a sandbox
that it doesn't mean that. You know what I mean?
Make no mistake, the people in writings would gladly see that any insults, I guess, like you have doxed and I see it, then I will keep creating music. They have no idea what they're doing. It's like children in a sandbox.
I've left them speechless. No, I asked that question pretty retarded, but like, I hope someone gets away.
I know. People in writings would gladly see that any insults, I guess, like you have doxed.
What do you want to know? Just 2 sentences. And it doesn't mean it's a paragraph.
Okay. Like, fuck. It's hard to
Yeah, no, basically he's just asking 434, the Quran, the famous wife beating verse. He's asking people on the panel, presumably, or in the room, whether we think it's literal or like metaphorical or symbolic or something, I guess.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just getting like your judgment on like what like is it literal or whatever, because that's what I like when I talk to a lot of Muslims. I'm not saying you guys are Muslims, but that's what they would say. That it doesn't mean that.
Children in a sandbox.
Then it doesn't mean that, Scott.
So it almost certainly meant that in the original Arabic that they meant you could hit them, but modern day revisionists will be like, no, it means to like send them away or whatever the fuck they try to say it as. But like, there's no chance that that's what the original intent was.
If they were intelligent, they would open source and actually organize and grow a network.
Thanks for answering.
It's that's a metric, right? Like,
Patty.
not harm anyone. So based on that metric, this wouldn't work. So you'll see, like, not contradictory, but
Stood there,
like,
Patty
for
Van.
example, it sets a metric on, to be fair, on Allah's nothing like His creation. But then it talks about like
Democrats have critical.
where He's creating the world with His two hands, sitting on a throne, etc. So since it's already set the metric at nothing like creation,
Democrats have critical mass.
all the other verses must necessarily be taken as metaphors. Then they become self-evident metaphors.
But the thing is like everything you just said. Would you say that like the average like person reading that would like comprehend it like that, or would they just be dwarfed?
Yeah, they wouldn't, because there's also a lot of insistence within like the Quranic paradigm on do not think, do not ponder, do not question. Almost like forcing you to do it. Like Sam said, there's a lot of repetition, and these verses seem to be very repetitive too. So if you're not pondering, you're not thinking, you're not questioning or reasoning, then of course you're gonna go beat your wire. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
On what you said, it could be that the Quran is referring to an intermediary.
Oh man!
Opposed to nothing, and they create a perimeter.
What's up, Majors? As opposed to referring to as opposed to it being a metaphor.
Makes sense. What have you done?
Why?
That's why you mad at me.
Democrats have critical mass. Republicans have nothing, and they create a perimeter or safe space to make sure Republicans never organize
No,
at scale.
yo, guys, ignore me. Fucking continue your conversation.
I have a question.
I'll wait my turn, and if I have something pertinent to say, I'll say it. But continue your conversation, please. Can't even believe I have to ask for that. Fuck, I come on stage and I don't know.
The people I'm ready as a bonus, you're dead. Any insults, I guess, like you're doxed, and I said, create business, and they've done what they're doing. It's like children in a sandbox. If they were intelligent, they would open source and actually organize a grow network. Instead, they have petty vain manners.
Or if nobody wants to talk, all of a sudden.
Nothing. They create a perimeter.
Title of the room is Islam is obviously false.
She was dying laughing. She said, stated
Well,
like you
it's
could
not
see absolutely
false,
hated, but you had to work with him. He was the boss. Type of job does spend time with family, other doesn't want a kid, he wants company and affection.
They're all wrong.
Just keeping
The
it
exact
she doesn't develop
are all equally wrong.
romance and shit. They just be acquaintance.
Regardless of whatever arguments they claim to make or whatever. Again, that barely gets them off the ground. They only first try to convince you of some kind of possibility of a deistic God, a first cause, the creator of the universe. And I could even grant, even if I grant you that, for the sake of argument, should I have a phone call?
That was powerful.
I think it's karma.
Look at this rat chariot sitting. Matthew, did Sia provide evidence for Buddha's existence?
Obviously not.
Do you know what you guys? Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Do you know what state the Buddha is from? Like what kind of, like?
It's the north, right? Like it's
Definitely California.
Nepal, maybe.
What?
Maybe arguably somewhere in Nepal or Bhutan. I get them confused.
They're different countries, but they're close. They're neighbors.
Yeah, I forget which one is west and which one is east. Is there like
the geographical region? But
none of these countries exist. To the west, right? No.
Like Hindustan or India didn't have well-defined borders. It was just fucking. And sometimes when they got really big, it was empires and stuff. But there wasn't like these imaginary lines that differentiate Bangladesh or Pakistan from India. It was all
really
just it was all the same region.
Ancient city of
In the age of the Buddha.
Apparently, it was the city of Kalapavastu. And
Kapalavastu. Yeah.
And so like it's
Nepal, right? Kapalavastu.
If he's interested in history, yes, there's a lot more historical evidence for the existence of Muhammad.
He was said to have been born in Kapalavastu.
Hi everyone.
So they're not totally sure whether Kalapavastu is in
Nepal.
In Nepal or in India. There's Pibwa and there's Talakorat. There's two cities that it might be.
Okay, so Sian is actually right. They all used to be like a
Target right. Democracy critical mass rules and nothing, and they created perimeter safe space to make sure Republicans never organize at scale.
Or Hindustan. And the British came as second.
It tells you like what open source and for organizing will not work.
Divide and rule, baby.
I mean, the Buddha had his students
people
and his
see
followers
that any insults
who
against
wrote down all his teachings.
Keep creating videos and using videos that
against
children in the sandbox. We're intelligent people. Open source areas.
We're lucky to have. I mean, most of
telling my mom
now
that she was dying laughing. She said she days ago,
like probably 90% of it was probably lost. We're lucky to have found anything at all. Pretty much.
So, I see that here on the heading you guys have why Islam is false, and you guys are confused about Islam, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And I would like to speak about that, kindly.
Yeah, did you read the document?
I did not read the document.
Well, the SWAT by accident. Wait for it.
So even though research has shown weightlifting belts can help to lift heavier weights with more explosive power, there's still 2 rules that you should follow when using one. And remember one, you don't wear your weightlifting belt for every single set, especially your warm-ups. This is Lee saying, South Korean weightlifter going through some deadlifts. And notice he's not going to put his weightlifting belt out until his heaviest set. Let me tell you the reason for that in a second. Rule number 2, you still have some programmed heavy lifts within your training without a belt. like this no-belt pause squat that Lee's performing here. Excellent technique. You see, even though weightlifting...
That means God first of all,
I had a lot of things to do today, but you know what I did instead? I took a nap. It was a very good nap. I had a lot of things to do.
I heard if you use this up...
Oh man, look at...
Okay, and during the blight and many other blessings, and people at that time were thinking that since this prophet is able to resurrect the dead and cure the blind, they called him God. But even in the Bible, he says that I am not God, he's a messenger of God.
So, we're not Christians, so why do you think that's where we disagree?
That's the automatic deflect.
If you're not Muslims, what religion are you?
Most of us are agnostic atheists. Matthew is a Shia mystic. Nargis is a perennialist Muslim. Me and Mark are basically agnostic atheists, but we're open to so.
Okay, so
I'm the Christian. I'm the one Christian.
Yes.
So cute.
It's okay, people have different religions, okay? But then in every religion, there is a belief that you believe, right? There is a source that you worship, correct? Now, in Islam, we believe in Allah. And Allah has unique attributes that are more unique than human attributes.
I think Sam wanted you to kind of rebuttal the document that's posted. There's a lot of information in that. I think that's why he was saying to read the document first, because I think you're saying a lot of stuff that respectfully Sam probably already knows, or else he wouldn't have been able to make the document without knowing all these
This document,
definitions.
I see that here in the document, it's talking about how you are saying that the Quran has a problem, and you're saying that there's a mathematical error in the Quran. Yep. It directly instructs you to do a mathematical thing that's impossible.
Yep.
Okay, now this person here who wrote this article is talking about Surah An-Nisa. Surah An-Nisa, the name of the chapter is women.
And I'm telling you right now,
and each chapter has a topic, and there's something that it reflects on, that it's teaching. And there's a reason why Prophet Muhammad was revealed on that surah during his time. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, the Quran is a book that has been revealed by God through Angel Gabriel. And Angel Gabriel revealed that book on Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. That book was not completed until before the death of the Prophet, peace be upon him. And there was no
peace be upon him
that continued after the death of the Prophet. That was 1400 centuries ago. It has never changed. No verses are fabricated. If you read the Quran, there is a Quran that is available in for the non-speaking Arabic people, and for the people, the Quran is diverse. It's for every human being. Now, the original form that the Quran revealed Allah is in Arabic, because the Prophet, peace be upon him, was an Arab. In other religions, and of Prophet.
What do you do? You're just gonna ramble about Islam? You're just gonna fucking tell. We know that you believe this stuff. We know what people believe in Islam. We want you to engage with the arguments of the document.
That's so funny.
What we're talking about, the heading you have here is why Islam is false.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, but read the document. Read the whole thing.
Listen. Let's listen to one another. Okay, you do not have Islam. Then what is this discussion about? What's the heading of this discussion? Did you read the heading of this discussion?
I just wanted to say.
Gentlemen, this is the captain. We are declaiming here.
So, the title is Islam is absolutely false, ma'am, and I think you should speak about that. And if you are going to say the same things about Islam, we all know what Islam says. We all know what God says in Islam. If we consider that there is a God and what has been written in Islam is
that back there is not real. I'm telling you, I'm getting the off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it.
We love you, you love us. We're much faster than the bus. We hope you enjoy our hospitality. Marry one of us, and you'd fly free. Did you know that if you
A Muslim is believing in the oneness. Okay, believe in the oneness of Allah and the message of the Prophet, peace be upon him. If somebody believes in that, that's what automatically makes them a Muslim, right?
Probably everyone in this app, we already know that, right? So if you want
But
to,
you already know.
everything that you've just said is just common knowledge among almost
It's
everyone.
not okay, Matthew.
So Han,
hold on.
So the way to engage is with Sam's. Now Sam's put a bit of effort in, and he's kind of listed these arguments against I would say traditionalist conception of Muhammad's endeavor or project. Okay, so to make it productive, the next thing that you should say is, I disagree with, and then name whichever number is in the document, and then discuss that. Because everything that you've said till now, and we respect that that's your
open eye and the token of red
there is one God is a claim. It needs to be proven, and obviously logic and philosophy would be the way to do that. A description about the natural world, for example, is a claim until it's proven.
8 and 1 and 1 and 8.
I'll talk to Sam about that afterwards. He's listed things that he sees within Islam, claims made by the general conception of Islam, what he calls a devastating account against Islam. So the best thing to do is just pick one of these claims, one of these objections, and then just prove him wrong.
Okay, now I will start with point number 5, whereby this is speaking about Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Now,
It sounds like she's saying peace be upon him.
Supposedly divinely guided, right? Now here he says that he had sex with a 9-year-old, that is Aisha, owned a sex slave, Maria the Copt, married a woman right after killing her husband, initiated aggressive military actions, owned slaves, and traded 2 black slaves for 1 Arab slave. Okay? Now that is the article that you shared. Now, when we talk about Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the Prophet never used to marry any of among the women that he married without the revelation of God, without God giving him reasons to. Now, when the Prophet, peace be upon him, married Aisha, that time was an engagement. Okay? They did not have any intimacy until Aisha became a little bit older. Aisha was engaged to the Prophet, peace be upon him, at the age of 9. Before her, he had a wife who was named Khadija. Khadija was older than the Prophet ﷺ. She was 45 at that time, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, was 25. The Prophet was younger than his first wife. Okay, now comes as she died. She gave birth to 6 children for him, and after Khadija died, who was the first wife, the Prophet, peace be upon him, married Aisha. He got engaged to her at the age of, when she was 9 years old. That was when her hand of marriage was given to him. Now, they became married when she became a middle teenage, and that is when they had intimacy at that time. You understand my point?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Because all you're talking about, all of these stuff that you're right now you're speaking of, we have been forced to learn when we were in school, because that's one of the consequences of living in a country that apparently says that it is Islamic. Okay, so why God bothered himself to force Muhammad to marry 40 women at least? This is my first question. And no one ever in a clubhouse could answer.
Okay, now, first of all, God did not force him. Okay, he was a prophet of God, who God chose him among the entire nation, that he becomes the last.
That can be called as a force. That can be called as a force. He did not choose to be. He did not choose to be the chosen one.
Okay, let me answer your question. Now, God has mentioned 25 prophets. There are not only 25 prophets, but 25 were mentioned in the Quran. Now, starting from Prophet Adam, who was the first of all messengers and who had a wife called Eve, all the way to Prophet Muhammad, who was the 25th prophet. Do you want to tell me that they were forced? Do you first of all understand the name of the term prophecy?
I think the core idea here is that not having women. And also the prophet himself married to 40
It's 11.
Yes. 11.
So what did you get?
Official marriage. So Matthew, there is a thing that you can officially marry someone. This is the official marriage. But there is also an unofficial marriage. Someone, which is also very a popular thing in Islam.
No, I understand.
So
I know. I'm aware of.
yes.
I'm aware of.
Yes.
And see if
So 40 women at least were involved in
yeah,
that.
well, I'm just asking for the evidence. I'm just asking for your evidence for that.
Okay, let me answer your question.
No, hold on. She's made a claim. I just want to know what the evidence is for that.
All the Islamic priests say so.
all Islamic priests?
Yes, of course.
One.
Well, how many marriages were official?
No. You've made a claim. I'm just pressing
That
you
is
on it.
not my claim. That is the claim that
you made a claim
Islam
as
priests
part of.
say.
No, you made a claim as part of your.
According to what is left of Islamic storytellers.
No, it's very vague.
Saying that
If you're going to mention something, and I'm not saying you're necessarily wrong, I've never heard of that, and I'd just like you to cite the evidence for that.
Islamic priest, he will also confirm it.
What do you mean Islamic priests? Are you talking about Maharaja? Are you talking about sheikhs? What are you talking about?
Yes, the both of them.
As an
Yes.
Islamic priest, I've never heard of
If you're going to make an argument again, I pressed Han to engage with Sam's, points. She's picked number 5. As part of your challenge against her, you've made this seemingly outrageous claim.
Somebody's watching me. Here's my anxiety. Somebody's
watching. To just be citing highly sensitive and controversial and inflammatory.
It's taken from any kind of book source mentions such a claim.
Okay, well, she can retract that. You can just retract that, Cecily, and just continue.
What does it have to be me? What is his relation with me being a researcher? I think this.
Well, you put it in your bio, so you're putting people on notice that. You're putting people on notice that you are a PhD researcher.
You attack me because I say such.
I'm not attacking you. I'm just pressing you for evidence.
It's like a personal attack. It's not.
It's not a personal. No,
it's not a logic. It's not a logic answer. So if you disagree with me, just tell me what you disagree.
It's relevant to your portrayal. No, it's relevant to the portrayal of yourself on this app. If it's not,
the logic here is that you say I disagree with you something and that. How it started?
Yeah, it's already started. And you can see that, isn't that pretty? Get on the inside, look at what's happening as it's coming towards you.
Yeah.
What does it look like?
I mean, it's like rainbow, knitting. Yeah. Oh, you see how much it's already. Look at that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Colors are amazing.
And it feels really good.
It feels good?
Yeah, it feels really good.
We want to give you the most coverage possible to be most comfortable.
I am
Once you face this, and that should do it right about. Almost there.
Oh my gosh, yes. Don't you have to cut it? So cool. Let's put it off. Oh my gosh, yeah, put it on. I want to see it so bad. That's so good.
Okay, now the reason why the Prophet peace be upon him
Girl, I wish I could save you, but I can't.
Now, the other reason is in Islam, Allah allows women when they return, when they get their period, that makes a woman that she's able to. Wives. The first wife was Khadija, who he married her at the age of 45 and was 25. He did not marry another woman until she died. After she died, then he married Aisha. Aisha was married at her age of 9 years, but the marriage was consummated when she was pure poetry.
Yeah, I mean that's also highly likely to be false, Han.
It's actually something that Sam should have
How is it
exercised.
likely to be false?
Yeah,
Why do you say it's likely to be false? 'Cause
Sam
in
should have
Islam-
exercised. Yes,
Okay,
Sam should have
in
exercised
Islam-
due diligence.
in
Hold on,
Islam-
hun. Hold on, hun. Sam should have exercised due diligence before putting that on there. It's very kind of it's well out of date. It's already been debunked. It is not true that Muhammad married a 9-year-old. If anyone is interested in actual history, in academic history, in modern academic scholarship, just read Dr. Joshua Little's paper on this. It's over 500 pages long. He's got an abridged version, which is roughly 340 pages. Sure, people can attack traditionalists or criticize traditionalist Islam's or Muslims' conception of history, which they usually hold onto a traditionalist version of studying history. But if you want to be consistent and you want Sam to, for example, highlight the Dhul Qarnayn narrative, you need to also be consistent and apply critical history also when it comes to Muhammad's biography. And it's just been debunked. There's no point really in non-Muslims criticizing Muhammad on the basis of marriage to Aisha at the age of 6 or 9 or whatever, because it's been demonstrated that it's just forgery. It was a polemical fabrication in order to raise the status of Aisha. So that should be noted.
Well, I think Sam is going to be okay with throwing the biography based data from Eric with Muhammad on the basis of the unreliability of Hadith literature in toto. But I mean, throwing away the reliability of the Hadith literature is also going to be in itself an argument against Islam.
Yeah, but it just needs to look. It's a fairly, it's very clunky. The case that it's nice. I like the stuff. There's something together a few weeks ago that I read. It wasn't to do with Islam. It just had to do with, I think, assumptions, and it was pretty advanced to read. And it's always good to kind of consolidate your thoughts in writing. But if you actually want to make a case, it should be thoroughly researched. It should be consistent. It should be coherent. So either you're going to apply critical history, in which case make that consistent, or just isolate a particular target audience. And it won't be the case that Islam is obviously false. It would be a particular version of the mainstream conception or traditionalist Sunnism, for example. You need to kind of be a bit more specific about your target audience.
I agree with this specifically Orthodox Sunni Islam. I think speaking with is accepted by Shia, for example, say nothing, say Quran. But I think the thrust of the criticism is going down essentially it should be phrased
Somebody's watching.
Today I'm doing something I might not.
My first boyfriend.
I still didn't get your answer.
I got this one thing right.
I think it's my answer. So Matthew said that the number 40 is wrong. Based on what I searched, so there apparently there are two types of sources. The Persian source
You're misquoting me. Can you correct? Hold on. If you're going to quote me, can you correct your quote? You're misquoting me.
it was wrong. He did
No, I
not
didn't say
have
it's
to
wrong.
approve it.
I said you didn't have
Then what
evidence for
did you
that.
say?
I asked you to provide evidence. As long as you can provide evidence, you can talk as long as you want.
So
What's the evidence that Muhammad married 40 women?
I'm not providing any evidence. I'm just describing the sources that I have found. So apparently there are many sources for this. In Persian sources, you can find that actually Persian resources say that it might be it might be that Muhammad had not 40 wives, but he was involved with 40 women. But some resources also say that that cannot be confirmed officially, but the 11 marriage is correct. So technically and officially, he was involved with 11 women. What I'm saying is that how can be possible in a religion? How this marriage can be justified inside a religion? How can we claim that this is a moral thing? To get involved with 11 women inside a marriage, I don't think anything like that can be considered as a moral action in any state of thinking. So I'm asking you, I'm asking for an answer. If you have any logical answer, please tell me about it.
So what's the actual, are you making the claim that marrying a certain number of women is morally wrong?
That is claimed as an not moral thing, yes.
And what's your basis for that?
Is it confirmed something moral in laws of other countries?
The laws of other countries? Which one? The laws of other countries? Why are you bringing up nation states for? Hold on. Are you talking about?
Why do you want to say it is wrong? It is completely wrong to have a second wife. If you live in a first world country.
I'm trying to consolidate. I'm trying to understand what you're talking about.
You're asking irrelevant questions. If you say that it is not wrong, why it is wrong in countries like Western countries to have a second wife? Why it is wrong?
Sorry,
Here, you're talking about the Irani yapping.
Yes, that's it. Are you talking about? Hold on. See, this is why I mentioned the fact that you've got PhD researcher in your bio. You're presenting.
Why are you attacking me being the researcher? What does it have to do with me being the researcher? You're attacking me. Just say your answer. Don't.
No interruptions are allowed in my room. One person speak and then the next person responds to it. If you don't follow that rule, I'll move you down.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate it. So, Stacey, the reason why I bring up PhD researcher, it's not a personal attack. It's because you're presenting yourself in this way to Clubhouse. Now, if you don't want that to be brought up, maybe just don't put it there. But I'm assuming the reason that you put it there is because you're proud of your work, and you should be as a PhD researcher. That's an honourable position, regardless of whatever the subject is. But because of that, I would expect some consistency, right? Just like I've been. I am a rationalist Muslim. I press Han, who's also a Muslim. I'm pressing others who are not Muslim. So my consistency is on point. All I care about is evidence. Now, you originally made a bogus claim about Muhammad having married 40 wives. I'm glad that you've retracted that, even though you seem to cite some Persian sources. I mean, the fact that they're Persian, who cares? They could be in German. Like, what difference does that make? Now you're talking about, is it moral to marry more than one woman in Western countries? Why are you bringing up nation states? Are we talking about a particular Muhammad in Denmark or the USA, or are we talking about 7th century Arabia? You need to judge, morality based on the context. Now, if you're saying that it was immoral to marry more than one woman in late antiquity, then I'd be very interested in your reasons for why you would. If you're attacking the claim by most Muslims, the vast majority of Muslims, that their conception of Islam is timeless, or that the instructions or prescriptions in the kind of the orthodox conception of Islam is timeless, you would probably be justified, right? Because there are certain things that were practiced in the 7th century.
Fascinating tale of the Isle Casino in Bettendorf, Iowa in September. Both locations happen to be owned by Caesars.
I take about $20,000. I stand at the kiosk for 4 hours just punching in my bets. Bet after bet after bet after bet.
So again, I'll ask you,
McPeak looks for wagers where he believes the odds are in his favor.
If you want to take a look at that notebook.
McPeak does extensive research, some of it laid out here in his handwriting. Over time, he and other professional gamblers believe they can gain an edge, but it's hardly a slam dunk.
It's not like I can just snap my fingers and just make the bets win. They still have to win.
Most of the tickets did not win.
In my hands right now, these are all losers.
But a few of the tickets were winners. Big time.
And I won $350,000.
But they won't pay it to you.
No, they will not.
McPeak tells us Caesars voided the tickets when he tried to get his cash in October. He says he was referred to the House rules.
Do you think that's fair?
Of course not.
A similar story when he returned to the Iowa casino this January to collect $450,000 for these winning tickets. This time, he was given a printed sheet highlighting structuring or anti-money laundering rules and repeat wagering policies. You want to fly under the radar?
I want to fly under the radar.
McPeak, like many so-called advantage players, go out of their way to remain anonymous. McPeak places a lot of smaller bets at a kiosk instead of one big one with a clerk at the counter to avoid his bets being rejected. Listen to the lengths he'll go to.
I'll switch up the disguise. Sunglasses. I'll hide my hair and my hat. I'll put it up in a bun.
Horseshoe and Hammond banned McPeak and voided his wagers. That's in contrast to FanDuel and Blue Chip Casino in Michigan City, which also banned McPeak after a big win. But Blue Chip paid him first.
They paid me a check of $127,000. They got beat. I won the bets.
McPeak took his gripes to state gambling regulators in both Indiana and Iowa. Neither state sided with him.
What would this $800,000 payday mean for you?
It's an insane amount of money.
So we took this case to three experts with three distinct points of view. Mike Lawton is a retired gaming regulator in Nevada.
There's probably some details and circumstances that we're not privy to.
Scott Morrow retired after a career at Las Vegas casinos and now teaches gaming at UNLV.
He went around, tried to circumvent the system, circumvent the House rules, and actually drive across state lines to circumvent it. So, I mean, I have a tough time finding sympathy for his case.
I've never seen a situation like this before.
Eli Foystill literally wrote the book, multiple actually, on betting. He sides with McPeak, based on the timing of when Caesars voided the bets.
If Caesars had decided before the first game was played to void all the wagers, that would be fair. That would be saying you've broken the rules, and when they saw that they didn't win. When they waited to see if he'd win before they voided him, that's where the problem was. The clear answer is Caesars owns this.
There's no rules against staying under the radar. It's horrible what they're doing.
In the end, it may be up to a judge to decide. McPeak says his next step would be to sue. Suzanne Lemignot, CBS News, Chicago.
The Indiana Gaming Commission says Caesars followed its rules when voiding the wagers. Now regulators
Seem to have much there. Cecily, again,
Let's make some gallon sand. Unlike mercury, gallon sand is not toxic, and it's a liquid at room temperature, unlike gallium, which is solid up until about 30 Celsius. You have to hold this for a while before it starts getting drippy. No. You deserve a metal that is almost always wet. I'm going to need this magnifying sheet. It's a bit floppy, but I can just whip out my tools and build it a sturdy frame. The lens can focus the sun's energy enough to easily melt tin. And that's great, because by weight, gallon sand is 10% tin, 20% indium, the only element you can safely chew like bubblegum, and 70% gallium. To speed things up, I used my lens to melt the metals down. They began to amalgamate. Their respective atoms all get in each other's way, frustrating crystallization, so instead of melting at 232, 156, or 30, gallon sand melts at just 11. I froze some gallium and some gallon sand in my freezer, and watch this. After just a few minutes, the gallium was still solid, but the gallon sand was a nice, shiny mirror suit. Let's make some
226 carats is going to get set in this setting. The biggest stone I've ever set in my entire life.
This was a massive smoky topaz, and we got the order from the client. We made the custom setting ourselves, and then we set this massive stone. And we're very thankful to the client for the opportunity for this project.
220.
I'm Patty Peterson.
If you want to make that kind of moral charge, everything's going to be up for grabs. Because what we consider moral today, you might be considering in 400 years' time. Completely immoral. So to have an intelligent conversation about morality, we need nuance, and you need to judge things in accordance with that context.
Actually, that's a good claim that you just said, Matthew. Do you know any other person other than Muhammad, any thinker or philosopher in that context 400 years ago who would marry 11 women back during that time? If you can find evidences for that,